sheet for, CAO's report. Hi, Richard.
I move that the CAO's report is received for information.
Mr. Martinson, you have the floor.
You see my report, as with some of the councillors, I attended the 3rd annual Big Lakes Invitational Golf Tournament. Also met with Gary Peterson, the interim CAO with Big Lakes County, and Dale Cox to discuss the enhanced policing. Worked with the Beautification Society in ensuring the sod in McIntyre Park and the trees were watered. We also, just to let you know, Councillor Long, that we fertilize that. So don't be putting any fertilizer on there, because you're coming.
Keep your horses away.
I met with the Accredited Supportive Living Society, and we rented them an office in
Yeah, I heard that.
the next door here.
Yeah.
For I think it's $560 a month, $559 a month. So Public Works were in there. We pulled some screws and nails out of the walls and patched and mudded the holes. And the summer students were in there this afternoon. They primed it. Tomorrow they'll be in to paint it, and they're moving in at the 1st of the month, so September. They already sent the lease to them today, and they're in there till March of 2018, I believe. They guarantee that long, so it's good. Also, tomorrow I'll be attending a progress construction meeting on 50th Street with the contractors, subcontractors, and that. Everything's going well. The only concern that we had is they said they were gonna leave streets open so people could access from one side of town to the other, but they haven't been doing that, so.
Hard to get around it.
You'll get the word. I know we have to go all the way down Main Street and back around by KFC, so we'll bring that up and address that tomorrow. Also, Ruel was in town. They had their millers in. They're done milling the street, 47th Street, and one way around St. Andrews. Vern and I today, he's on holidays, but he come in. We agreed to do some extra sidewalk panels within that area in the contingency fund that council had left in there, so we're spending some more money in there fixing the corners up on the St. Andrews side, so there's some concrete. So there's curbs and sidewalks that there have to be replaced. Some are dipped, and
That's good.
so construction is going well though. I believe, I'll know more tomorrow, but I believe these guys are on schedule, even with the rain, so.
It's amazing. Councillor Gilroy.
Just one quick question. With the Accredited Supportive Living Society in there, how many potential renters do we have for the other side? Like, do we have enough for 3 or 4 or 1 or 2? Like,
How many rental spaces?
yeah, how many rental spaces are available still?
I believe there's 5 left. 5 vacant offices.
Councilor Vinagre?
Just to carry on that theme, who's all in there besides brain injury,
No, brain injury. The chamber in there,
the chamber,
the MLA,
Peace officers.
police officers,
police officers, yeah,
and now
now the
accredited
accredited living?
support, yeah.
Okay. Just a couple questions on your action list. Again, going back to the first one, 493/15. That's almost been a year now. Is that getting close to being resolved?
I talked to Lori, and she's taking it back to the rec board for approval before it comes back to council.
Okay,
So I don't know when your next rec board meeting is, Arlen,
September the 8th.
so she's probably gonna be taking it to that meeting.
okay. Second one, page 57, 423/1. Northwest Regional Sheriff agreement, forward a letter regarding approval signed by designated officer. Is there something holding up that signature, why it hasn't been sent there?
I think the fire chief from high level doesn't like Sarah. She's been emailing them just about every day. I've been after you, eh? And has he replied, and we've been emailing him steady.
Oh,
To
okay.
send the original documents down to be signed, and he has given us no response.
Okay. Okay, the one below that, 438/16, it says it's, completed, the special meeting with MLA. Do we have a date?
Yeah.
That was the, special meeting that we were trying to get before this council meeting, or last council meeting?
Last council.
Last council meeting, and, she
That
was
was she.
unavailable,
Okay,
but I did talk to her at the rodeo grounds,
Right.
and then that's why we moved forward and set up, the co-hosting of the 3 municipalities.
okay,
That was
okay,
administrative.
perfect, thank you.
Any other questions? Counselor Canasic.
I'm curious about the road at St. Andrews, is that gonna be, I mean, they've milled it, they've taken out the old
The,
pavement, is the new stuff gonna be in for school?
yeah, the, concrete guys were supposed to be in today. We were supposed to meet with them, that's why, the engineer from Ruel had contacted us on the extras, cause he wanted these extras in, but we hadn't budgeted enough money, and they had budgeted over our contingency amount. So Vern and I went through it and picked out the parts that we thought were more important, like the sidewalk, as to some of the gutter. Anyways, that's why that was approved. The concrete has to be poured and in place to cure a week, 7 days before they're allowed to pave up to it, cause they may damage the concrete, so there's a curing time of a week on the concrete, so.
So it won't be ready for school?
They'll pave that easy in a day. That'll be nothing for them to pave in a day.
So it might be,
So
it's
it
a
could be,
definite maybe.
Yeah.
Definite almost.
Oh my God. And one last thing is you'd met with Gary Peterson and Dale Cox. What was the results of that meeting?
Gary just wanted to hear himself from Dale on the suggestion. I had met with Gary even prior to this and basically told him about the enhanced policing and what Dale had proposed, and was each a third for each body paying for one member of the RCMP or the regional police. So Dale pays for the regional police, and who sits on the enhanced policing, and he's budgeted for that for the coming years.
Yeah.
But he says that the county and the town should pay for one member, and he said the RCMP should also be putting in for a member for that enhanced policing. So he said it won't work with a 2-member system, it's gotta be 3 members, because as busy as they are, but Gary wanted to hear that firsthand, so.
Yeah, that's good.
As busy as they are, but at the last RCMP meeting that we had at AUMA, they were saying our stats are down, and that's showed that the program worked and that there was less of a need to have the enhanced policing in our region because the numbers were down. And yet they're still saying, well, we need to have 3 because of how much it's needed.
He said they're very busy, so.
No doubt.
I believe it's an ongoing thing. Counselor Gilbert.
Actually, when it comes to the roads, I know there is one road that goes over to the high school, but you just reminded me that this Friday is the first game of the Renegades. Not Renegades, sorry, the Outlaws, at the park there. Will the other team be able to get there, or do we win by forfeit?
You can still get there.
Well,
Past KFC.
I'm thinking that we should have something to make sure that they know which road to get in, so that the game and fans that get to the Outlaw game on Friday, which I'm coaching.
That's a Bantam game, right?
Where's the game being held?
inside of the track.
Oh, send him an email map that he can forward to us.
To the
We-
opposition
I-
coach.
Yeah.
if we can, if you give it to me, I can give it to Tom, or send it to Tom, the head coach, and he'll flip it over to you.
With all of the construction, the back alley that goes past the lift station in the trailer park, past at the four-way stop, and you hang a right, and they've got the detour that goes into the back alley that'll take you down towards Yak and that way.
Okay.
There's a dip in there that is like that, right by the sewer and the drainage.
That's a storm.
And it's getting punched out apparently. A couple of residents approached me and asked if there was any way of smoothing it out, filling it out, because of the more traffic that's coming through there now. It's just rutted potholes, and didn't know if they could get it figured out.
Because when Vern and I first talked with the contractors, he said, don't open it all up. You know,
Yeah.
do it in sections so that,
I remember
you know,
telling us.
the guys on this end still have access, so that when you get moving along, you're not running water lines all over to each individual resident along there, you know, you're doing it in sections. So I believe they're doing that. I think they got the far end, the water and that all done and that down there, and it's back pressure, chlorine tested. So they're moving now between 56th Avenue, which is a four-way stop, and the highway now, so 53rd Avenue.
So they should be able to drive up to,
You should be able to still get through at the four-way stop, or go through
No,
the,
we can't get through the phones.
I know, but you should be able to go through the parking lot at the swimming pool and access.
We need some arrows.
Most people, I guess.
Take a look at that alley and see, because even if it's not gonna be used, your dip is gonna be collecting more.
it's
sitting there.
pretty significant.
Yeah.
But there is a storm catch basin there, so.
Can't you fill it in?
It maybe needs more rings on it to bring it up to then, so you can grade around it, I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Any other questions?
Go.
All those in favor of accepting Mr. Martinson's report, carried. Okay,
I make the motion that council receive a check listing for council for July 27th to August 9th, 2016 for information purposes.
questions? Mayor Cox.
Treasurer isn't here, but, she did tell me that we're moving towards a direct deposit for the vendors, and the check listing will include checks that, are direct deposited to the vendor. And eventually, we hope to see most of the checks direct deposited, so we save on postage, labor to stuff the envelopes, and the, actual printing of the checks.
Mr. Martinson.
Just to let council know that our direct deposit slips for all of the town employees now are all emailed to them.
Awesome.
So we got everybody's email address, so we're starting to go paperless here too. and
That's good.
Save
For me, then.
postage and.
Oh, good job. So we voted on, no, we didn't. Anybody else have a question on the checklist? Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Page 66, economic developments of developers of Alberta. Anybody wanna make a motion on this? Councillor Long.
Council received the invitation to attend the Economic Developers Alberta's course for elected officials in Manning, Alberta on October 12th, 2016 for information.
Anybody have any comments? Councillor Gilroy.
I noticed that we can also book our own economic developers Alberta course. Have you checked into that to see what that would cost us and whether it'd be feasible for us? Because we did host a very good one at the Elks for when the MLA brought her municipal government stuff here. It would be kind of nice to host another one if it's feasible.
Mayor Cox?
I I'd like to see us host a course like this at the beginning of an election cycle rather than the end. If we do it at the end, we actually potentially are spending money on counselors that may not be bringing it forward for the next year for the betterment of the town.
I agree with that thinking, except for I do think that also you do need counselors that have had a couple of years of experience. There's a maturity level that comes to your position that you have a better understanding of the expectation, and these courses are offered obviously for everybody. It's in their 4th year because everybody runs that same term. These courses are offered all the time. I think we should consider, I mean, I'm not advocating for this particular one, but maybe following up on what Councillor Gilroy said and hosting one in the community that might be a more affordable way to do it. But I mean, reading about these courses and talking to people that have, at the AUMA, talking to people who have gone to them, they've gathered a lot of good information. They're probably fairly useful compared to some of the other things that we've supported.
I just wanted to clarify my point, if I can.
Yeah.
If we hosted it, would it be possible for us to sort of have some town staff there that might be able to take notes as well? So that we would actually, instead of having just one person there, we could have actually maybe some staff from our town there as well, gaining more bang for the buck.
Mayor Fox?
I would think if we hosted it, we would have as many possible to make it worthwhile, but if we're not hosting it, of course, and that would be a different issue brought up at a different time.
Councillor Long?
Last sentence is, don't miss these chances to learn how to best support the EDOs in your communities. Do we have an EDO? Nope.
Which,
Just-
the other part of that though is
It's
because
kind of an
we-
important part, it's not an economic development officer to support.
Right, so
Then
we have to be them, and this is, and I've asked municipal first,
Call
who's
the question,
expected?
please.
I still have something to say, does anybody else have anything? Call the question means she doesn't see any more value in this conversation, and does anybody else still, everybody else can, based on our own.
I did
procedure
have
about-
something else to say on this topic too, so I don't know if I'm ready for that. That surprised me a little bit, but I haven't had a
My
chance to speak.
understanding from the procedural bylaws, once the question is called, all stuff is done.
But you know what, that doesn't make any sense,
It
because
doesn't.
we could go in, well,
No, but it doesn't
but
say
it
that
doesn't
even.
say,
It
but
doesn't
what I
say
could
that.
say is,
It
okay.
says that she's decided that she doesn't want it, and she would like to know if anybody wants to call the question. I am
Yes.
fine with continuing the conversation, Brian is fine with continuing the conversation, if you have anything to say, if you would like to call the question, then we can. It is a
But-
majority vote, that's all she's calling for at this point, is does the majority of people want to stop talking about it?
Because we could introduce a topic and I could go call the question right off the bat. And then nobody gets to discuss it.
Mhm.
I mean, and people would have lots to say yet. So it doesn't make sense that, I'm not sure how it's worded in there, but for, you know, to say that it's
Says when a
a,
motion that a vote be taken, call for question, or presented, it shall be put to a vote without debate.
Yeah, call the question, that vote must be taken. And it's the same thing as somebody saying table the motion. You don't have a say in it, if the motion goes forward, table the motion, it's done. And you can't bring it back, so it may not make sense.
we should
But-
change that policy then.
It,
Send that to the MGA as they're doing
But-
review.
It does allow anybody to control and dictate a meeting however they want as well, right?
Call the question means we don't wanna get into a lot of debate. If you defeat the motion, make another motion. The motion is pretty straightforward.
You can read back the motion.
Alright.
To say for information.
That council received the invitation to attend the Economic Developers Alberta's course for elected officials in Manning, Alberta on October 12th, 2016 for information.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
I'd like to
Councillor.
make a motion that we make available this course for anybody that wants to take it by distance.
point of order. The question was called on it, sorry, Brian.
You're not allowed to talk anymore, apparently.
It's,
Well, she just said we can make another motion.
It wasn't
It,
defeated.
the motion, the question, it was called, we called
We
the
called the
question
question.
on this topic, on this issue. And so to bring forward a motion on the motion that we just called the question on, you'd have to put it onto the next council agenda.
We make secondary motions all the time.
If not when it's been called, when the question's been called, it's
After the
done.
vote, we voted on one and then made a motion afterwards.
Okay.
But I thought her interpretation was because it wasn't defeated. If the motion's defeated, you can make another motion. This was a carried motion.
This is the 26.2. When a motion that a vote be taken, called for question or presented, it shall be put to a vote without debate. If carried by a majority vote, the motion and any amendments theretofore shall be submitted to a vote immediately without further debate. So once the question is called, there is no further debate on that motion.
So we can just call the question as soon as it's, yeah, anybody can call.
Anybody
This is
can do
stuff
it.
that we've
No,
been
no.
doing it since the.
I know, but I'm saying that we should probably change that policy, in my opinion.
It's, well.
No, it's not MGA. This is our policy.
procedure.
Oh,
This is.
A lot of our procedures are very much different than the MGA, by the way.
Okay.
Of course, if the bylaw committee would meet, they
Yes.
could change it.
So, we'll just
Bring it forward in an RFP if you wanna go by.
leave this for now. Okay, 69, Wood Waste Recycling Workshop Expo. Do we have a motion? Councilor Janaka.
Council received the invitation to the Wood Waste Recycling Workshop and Expo for information.
Anybody have anything to say about it? Councilor Gilroy.
The only thing I was thinking about this, I know the cost is prohibited, and I'm not gonna suggest that we go with it, but what I was thinking is, with this technology, if we could get some sort of, contact to that after that, I would look at this as more of a backup in case Toco decides that they have no need up here. I was wondering if there was any way to connect the two, so we could at least look at another possible business up here. And so I just wanna put that out there that we at least keep the information on this, so that if we have any trouble with Toco, maybe we can use this as another new industry up here.
Does anybody have any other feedback on this? Like, where did this come from, Brian? This just got emailed to us, nobody requested it, nobody sits on a committee? Here, go ahead.
It just comes through from, email saying that this year, meeting is available, and, I just forward these types of things on to the CAO for inclusion as to whether or not.
So it's not a specific value that you're finding that you think that we should know?
These are the type of things that the whole
This
council.
is the second one.
Yes.
People.
Okay. Okay, well, I mean, we can look into
I'm
further
just
depending.
saying as a backup, cause if they don't get it and they don't want their property, maybe we could work with other groups and at least salvage the wood up there.
Okay, well, for now, we'll vote on the motion. All those in favor of receiving it for information? Carried.
Toco in the Paw, Manitoba, closed down, largest employer.
But they would-
74, St. Andrews graduation invitation. Somebody like to make a motion? Councilor Tanaka?
The council approved the mayor or delegate to attend the St. Andrews graduation mass and ceremony on August 27th, 2016 from 1 to 3.
Mayor Fox, can you attend?
No, that's why I was just gonna let you know that you're going to be attending and giving a speech. And also October 1st, Children's Resource Council. Although we have a motion that says that all council can attend, I would imagine that they will be requesting a speech from the deputy mayor, because I will not be there either, so get your pen out and start writing.
I remember doing it.
Okay, so we're voting on a motion? Any other comments?
Yes, that, I would amend the motion to say it's from 1 PM and 3 PM, not from 1 to 3, because the mass is at,
Oh, sorry.
One and then,
the ceremony is at 3. And the mass, as I said to Reeve Matthews the first time that I went, the mass is a church service, nothing whatsoever to do with you. You may skip it unless you feel your soul is
Need
needed,
redemption.
and just go to the 3 PM one.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor? Written and verbal reports. Mayor Cox.
You have my report for August 3rd to the August 16th. If anybody has any questions, otherwise I move my report for information.
Did you hear anything from the golf tournament as far as the, final numbers?
None, and I'm not sure what's happening with the, donation, because they were going to, donate up to $5,000 to a local charity, but I don't know who they chose on that either.
I suggested the football team,
Absolutely.
Yeah, great.
the young ones.
Yep.
So,
$300 a helmet to protect their heads.
Also, there was a discussion in the intermunicipal regarding whether or not the, helipad contractor would be still moving forward on a helipad. And we were assured that yes, they would be, so. Still don't know who it is, but, they were, quite adamant that the person is still on board.
any other questions? All those in favor? Counselor Dunaka.
No report.
Counselor Gilroy.
Okay. Considering I was on vacation, I have only a couple things to mention, and that is I was at the Sesquicentennial Committee meeting. The mayor and I met with the delegation from the Falun Gong on human rights. Their whole purpose in coming was to make awareness to the fact that their practitioners are being arrested and used in the black market organ retrieval or donation against their will. So the idea is that we were trying to remember that everyone has the right to worship in their own way without any fear of reprisal. And so that was more of the what we were trying to say. So hopefully everyone agrees with that. And then just say that I'm actually going this Friday to Fairview to represent the town on the Mackenzie Municipal Board meeting. So just let you know about that. And other than that, I move the adoption of my verbal report.
Questions for Counselor Gilroy? All those in favor? Counselor Long.
We had the Sesquicentennial meeting. It was a tad unruly, I think. There was a lot of sidebar. It has a lot of strong-willed individuals. The last thing I wanted was to have it turn into a political football, which I felt and still feel that it's sort of becoming. I won't preside over a committee that I feel is fractious, and I will stay on the committee. I want to be a part of it. I will not chair this committee. It's big, it's unruly, and it's becoming, in my opinion, political. There's $100,000 on the table. And so, yeah, I'll be stepping down as chair. I don't have the patience and I don't have the health, and I don't have the desire to try and rein in a group of adults that should know better. That should know better how to conduct themselves in a meeting. And clearly, that didn't happen. and it hasn't happened since day one, pretty much. Part of it must be my fault for not taking control of that. But again, I stated right from the get-go, I did not want to chair these meetings like a town council. I didn't want to be the hard hand pounding the gavel, motion carried, this, that, and the other. Let's have fun with it. And it's not. Ergo, I will focus on some of the things that I think are fun and important to me that I wanted to be a part of, but I will not chair this committee. Absolutely not. Other than that.
Are you officially resigning as chair, is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, but that's neither here nor there, that's where we're at. Still a great committee, and there's great people on it. We're all wanting to do some really cool things. I don't have the desire to try to wrestle it. So I'll let somebody else take it on. I think Brian, you'd be awesome. Or Nick.
Why is it always me?
But, yeah, so that's about it for my report.
Can I ask you a question on that?
Yes.
We did appoint a vice chair at the, sort of the first
that
meeting.
vice chair would be the
Is
person.
that what, like, I mean, instead of just sort of passing it over, cause we already did appoint a vice chair, I mean, I'm disappointed that that's the direction that you'd like to go, but I mean, if that's what
Yeah.
you,
No, like,
like, I don't think we can just sort of change that, or can we, does it have to be
You
some,
vote
does it
for
have to be
vice
somebody
chair.
who's
Yeah,
a
we can do
council?
that at an actual meeting.
Mayor Cox?
I think given that what you have said about the committee, I believe that it's up to council to really decide how they want to go. Maybe council would like to appoint the chair of the committee rather than the members. Regardless of who is on there, we should be trying to get the best possible person.
I think in terms of reference, as the chair is picked from within the committee though.
Within the committee?
Who's vice chair?
Tammy, Kalita.
Okay.
Well, I'm thinking maybe we should be discussing the terms of reference. So when is your next meeting?
The
22nd of September.
22nd?
Yes.
Okay, then, I would like that brought forward as an RFD, the terms of reference for the Cesspit Center.
And I'm sorry. I truly am.
Councilor Gilbert?
I'm of the same opinion as Councilor Rose. It's a very challenging one to deal with the strong personalities, with people who are enthusiastic. And I think you've done an admirable job balancing the different personalities. It'll be sorry to see you go.
I'll still be on the committee.
Well, as in leadership that way. And I guess I'm with the mayor in the sense that, how can I say this properly? There is a lot at stake for this particular committee. I'm not talking about the personalities there, but the whole 1 year
Mhm.
thing. And if the council is not 100% sure on the direction of the next one, then they should bring it forward. If they're fine with keeping it where it would go back to the committee and they'll talk about it, I'm fine with that too. But I wanna make sure council is still fully on board with every decision we make because we are accountable to the council.
And just further to that, Mike, you know, don't be so hard on yourself and the committee. I think ultimately it's a brand new committee, right? Brand new terms of reference. It was really tough to have a focus and a direction. It was hard to, you know, you were expected to meet with Nancy. We didn't even know for sure how Nancy was gonna fit into it as far as chairing, or as far as getting the agendas ready, having agendas ready. I mean, there's a big expectation, and that's part of what sort of maybe why things have gone off on different.
Well, and in fairness to Nancy, she wanted to get involved on the Cesco Centennial Committee as a volunteer.
I know,
And
yeah.
she's now doing the exact same thing that she does here.
But it's a lot of-
Because we pushed it on her, and she's no longer having fun. She's not even feeling like she's being heard or respected. Because she's expected to take minutes, which she didn't wanna do. She said she didn't wanna do, and she got nominated, pushed onto her. It's really unfair. And so,
But then it just put a whole bigger job on the chair, because then you're expected to come with an agenda, so, I mean, I do appreciate,
We discuss this
yeah.
when we bring it forward in camera,
yeah.
the next meeting. This will be a personnel issue.
It's not a person,
Well, it is, because we're talking about the
volunteers.
volunteers and their people.
We're talking about the terms of
The
reference.
terms of reference,
Which isn't
I
an
don't
in-camera
think
item.
we would want,
That was my next question, was original things.
So,
Okay. So anybody have any other questions for Counselor Hall? Counselor Bennett?
So are you going to write an official letter of resignation?
I suppose I should.
Yes, you should.
Are you moving your report? Or did you?
I'm going to vote.
All those in favor? Counselor Panasic?
Had a few meetings, one today for the Waste Authority. Highlights of that is that Whitefish is gonna be joining the authority as sort of an associate member. And that means they get 75%, they pay 75% of the non-member rate, so they get a reduced rate. But they also have to pay a one-time fee of $35 per capita to get that reduction. So over a long term, over a couple of 2 or 3 years, it would pay off and they'd start seeing benefits. We're working with Ridgeline for the contaminated soil site, and Ridgeline has set it up. They're going to be working with the environment to get all set up as a separate entity from the Waste Authority. But for this time, because of the soil from the UFA, it's been brought on to the Regional Waste Authority site for now, and then it'll be moved over once they get their site all set up. And as a result of that, the Waste Authority made about $91,000. So that was good from that point of view. Gilwood and Anilda transfer sites will become manned sites probably by around mid-October. So they will no longer be just an open transfer site, but ones that'll be manned and only open on certain days, like the other ones. The other meeting we had was a meeting through Heart River Housing with Minister Sigurdsson, Seniors in Housing in Valley View. She toured the lodge there, and as part of that, we had about a half hour with her as a board, and we also had the Reeve of MD and the Mayor of Valley View in on that. And basically at that, not much to report other than we went over the same sort of issues that we had discussed with her when we met in Edmonton. And that was, funding, trying to promote the funding of the projects for High Prairie was one, and the one for Fox Creek were the two big ones. Trying to get funding for capital projects, specifically their houses that are sitting empty because they just need so much repairs that the Heart River Housing doesn't have the money to do it. The government doesn't supply enough money to do it, so these houses are sitting empty. Not so much in our community, but in some of the other ones, they got houses just sitting empty. And of course, we had the intermunicipal meeting yesterday, and we talked about the airport, regional water, doctor recruitment, the cost sharing agreement, and items for AUMA, AMDC, sort of joint issues to discuss. Unless there's questions, I move my report for information.
It's more of a suggestion. Can Heart River possibly talk to Habitat for Humanity to see if they can help renovate those houses or something like that, that would then benefit both you and the community? You don't have to give an answer now.
Yeah, I don't know the answer
Yeah.
to that, I mean, they might.
If you could just bring it to you, the board,
Yeah.
it might help out.
Mayor Cox?
I'm just wondering how many of our social housing houses are empty in High Prairie?
There's none in High Prairie, at this time, well, none that are vacant for any period of time. Like we have had some units here, because when one person moves out, and if they do a lot of damage, it might sit while they repair it for 2 or maybe 3 months to get that work done, because they don't, they try to do more of it in-house than contracting it out, because it's a lot cheaper and that minimizes the cost. So nothing sits very long. All of our High Prairie units are in reasonable shape and get repaired.
And the Whitefish Lake population, where are you getting the figure from for?
They got it from the Métis, or the census for the Aboriginal, I forget what they call it, but the Aboriginal census that they claim, and I'm not sure what that is, but they supplied that. It came from 2016. It was a recent one, I believe, or 2015 or 2016.
Okay.
Any other questions? You moved your report?
I did.
All those in favor? Counselor Courtly?
No meetings other than I took part in the golf tournament, of course. Helped out on hole 3. Actually, there was a lot of discussions, lots of good politicking. It was I think it was well attended. What I really liked, what I saw, was a lot of our own town employees, girls and stuff. They were there. They did a good job, a great job, I thought, what they did. It's good to see more than just counselors, right? It was awesome. I thought it was well attended. The arena bathrooms are coming along well. The tile has been all put in. They're just grouting. They should be done grouting the women's bathroom. Probably, if they didn't get it done today, they'll be done it tomorrow. And then the plumber can start putting in all the new fixtures and everything, which is all sitting there ready to go. And he's chomping at the bit to get her done. So coming along very well. It'll look really, really nice when it's done. It'll be a really nice addition. The stress is off for the end of the month for Ricky. The grad is still in the Gordon Buchanan Center, but the boxing match that was on the same night has been postponed. So they're kind of not as under the gun as they were before. So, but it's coming along very well. A couple weeks will make a big difference. It'll have a whole new look. Everything that is going in there is sitting there waiting. Like I say, the contractors have been working diligently. They've been doing very well. So there's been no hang-ups with that. Yeah. So, any questions? No questions? I'll move my verbal report for information.
Any questions? All those in favor? And I didn't meet the deadline, but I did provide you guys a bit of a report. The one thing I just included was that sesquicentennial events schedule that we've been passing around with the committee for you guys to sort of have the opportunity to take a look at and sort of stay in the loop on what's going on there. Anybody have any other questions? Mayor Fox?
I'm looking at the sesquicentennial events calendar, and I see that the actual sesquicentennial committee is doing 6 of these events, and I'm wondering, you guys, it's only 8 people on your committee, are you really able to do had envisioned, and I thought that this was what was happening, was that you were enhancing existing, organizations, things that were happening with, already in town. For example, the gun show, I don't see that we're doing anything to enhance that. The quilting, we're not doing anything to enhance the quilting. We're not enhancing, at least I don't see a lot of these places where we're enhancing anything.
Councillor Gilbert?
I should be the one addressing the quilting one. I'm meeting with as far as I know, I'm meeting with the Quilting Society to go over the details of it this Friday. Other than that, they're basically, the idea here is that they're gonna run with it. We will give them some support, but they will be making the decisions, and we will give logistics. So it will be an area-wide situation, but the committee itself will not be fully involved. I'll be acting as a point person, and so that's minimal contact with the committee and maximum exposure and work with the Quilting Guild.
Okay. So, but I see other items that aren't on here, like the Penny Carnival. That's a big item in our community, and yet they're not. Are we enhancing theirs? I guess that's my concern, is I don't see a lot of the events that are already in existence in our community. I don't see where they're the ones that are hosting it. I see the Sesquicentennial is hosting with co-host, I gather would be providing a bit of help.
Yeah, and
Isn't it the wrong way around?
so in the report there, it basically said that we are just sending out a letter now, and that's sort of the problem. The letter didn't go before they started making decisions on what we wanted to see happen. So things like the time capsule and the accord, we did make some decisions that we wanted to see in the Sesquicentennial year. But I agree with you, the Penny Carnival and parades and all the things that go on in the community, they haven't been asked to, you know, what do they wanna do to enhance their event, how can we help them, right? So those letters that, we had a
So
draft
we
letter
will
that went
see
out, that's right.
more as it comes, because I'm concerned here, we're doing a Black Tie Film Festival. And the Sesquicentennial Committee is gonna do that?
I think that's Michael's baby.
Michael's baby was the poetry and whatnot, that sort of got tacked on. But yeah, basically what we're gonna be doing is meeting with the schools and talking with the elementary and high schools and the junior high, and they're going to create their own film projects, and then they'll be presented at a Black Tie Film Festival along with the poetry reading and the different things celebrating our Sesquicentennial History High Parade.
Okay.
So
So you're
again,
saying
we'll be putting
okay.
it forward, Noella, or,
And Noella.
yeah, Noella and I will be doing that, so she's using her contacts with the public school system. Make all that come to fruition.
So some of those relationships are forged.
And we pass the torch.
Good luck. Yeah, I mean, this looks like you're getting off quite a bit today.
Yeah, and like this is probably a living document that shall be ever changing, and these were the ideas that came out, and then we kept on saying, but we have to keep on asking, we have to ask the public, we have to find out what everybody else, first inform them about what's going on with the committee, and to give them an opportunity to give us their feedback. They haven't had that opportunity for feedback, so this could change a lot.
Okay.
We've had other groups like Northern Lakes College sort of indicate an interest in being involved. We don't even know what capacity and where we would end up putting them in. So there may be other groups that would like to get involved, and so some of these events that right now say Sesquicentennial, they may end up being looked after by other committees or other groups, other organizations. So
Where there will be minimum supervision in the sense.
and we can
Where
offer,
they will do all the work and we will just help them, come alongside them and help them get through some red tape,
right.
stuff like that.
It's just to help keep things a little bit focused and a little bit of a direction. But if there's not any other questions, then I move my report for information. All those in favor? Carried. So are we going to
Break in any time?
adjourn and then in camera, and then go
Take a break.
take a break, 10 minutes.